Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched WWE Monday Night Raw episode 1342. This is week 7, part 1 of 2019. I enjoyed this episode for the most part. There's a killer match. Basically the main event of the episode. There's stuff that happens after it. There's another segment to end the show. But the last match of the night, which is like a solid 20 minutes or so, I wasn't keeping track. They went hard and they went all night. But we'll get to that match in just a minute. The through line of this episode, beginning of the episode, the end of the episode, and we cut away to Becky Lynch backstage multiple times throughout the night, was the matter of the WrestleMania match between Ronda Rousey or whoever's the Raw Women's Champion versus Becky Lynch, the winner of the Royal Rumble. So, all of the events of the last week or so come to a head. Becky is welcomed back into the ring with an opportunity from Triple H and Stephanie McMahon that she went and saw a doctor. She's good to go on that front, but there's just one thing they want, and that's an apology from Becky. And so she's contemplating it throughout the night. A lot of people offer their advice. She doesn't ask anybody for their advice. They all just kind of feel like it's their place to speak up to her or something. So everybody encourages her to make the apology, because it's not worth jeopardizing the greatest match ever, just to be stubborn or whatnot. But the last person that she gets advice from, this is like during the tag team match at the end of the show. Alexa Bliss says, no, you shouldn't apologize because I look up to you and everybody looks up to you and just stick by your guns, that kind of stuff. And Becky's like, no, you just want that match. You'll take that match from me if I'm not in that spot. So I think that kind of tipped her even more in that direction, because Alexa screwed Becky out of winning her championship back in that cage match, bringing in La Luchadora. I mean, Becky brought in La Luchadora first, but to have the fake La Luchadora. Anyway, their rivalry goes back a ways. But, ultimately, I am jumping to the end here. I do want to talk a bunch of the matches that happened throughout the night. But Becky does apologize, and Triple H says, well, congratulations. Becky's, what was that it? All right, well, I guess I'll cut a promo now. Then Vince McMahon comes out and says, no, I don't like your attitude. You're suspended for 60 days, which is like 5 days after WrestleMania. And we need a replacement. And that replacement is Charlotte Flair. I almost threw something on my TV. I was like, dang it. I knew it. You son of a gun. So I'm kind of excited for what's to come in the next few weeks. In 2 weeks, we're going to have Ric Flair's birthday celebration. I think it's like his 70th birthday. Is it his 70th? Is he that old? I think so. So that's got to be... so Becky's suspended, but there's no way that she isn't ruining that celebration in some way. And I'm looking forward to that and all the other stuff. And I mean, in the beginning of the show, she was saying, I don't care who I have to go through to get this done. You, Stephanie, you, Triple H, or your pops, or whatever she called him, meaning Vince, of course. So that's her next target. She's got to go after them. And she was right. She's obviously right to be skeptical of their intentions about not trusting them. Or it wasn't even really a matter of trusting them. It wasn't really them who did it. But she just screwed out of it anyway. So, I'm looking forward to see what Becky's plan is, what she's gonna do next to make her to fight for her dreams and make her dreams happen. All right, so some of the matches that happened, we had a triple threat: Sasha and Bailey, Tamina and Nia, and Liv and Sarah. And the loser of this match would enter the chamber first. Now, this is a weird thing for like a multi-team match because it disincentivizes actually participating in the match. Like, you don't get anything from winning except that you didn't lose. If that makes sense. But you can also not lose by not ever being tagged in. So the way a tag team triple threat match works is that you can there's only 2 active members of teams. There's only 2 people legal in the ring at a time. And obviously those 2 can only represent 2 of the 3 teams. So at first, Sasha and Bailey were right on top of that strategy. I was thinking, man, if they just keep jumping off the apron and stuff when people come to try to tag them, they'll be golden because no matter what, they're not losing. So they're not having to start the Elimination Chamber match. That's what the stipulation for the loser was. Whereas there is no advantage of being there's no advantage of being the one who makes the win. Other than just that you didn't lose. So I liked that they were really working with that, but then Bailey tags in. I'm like, oh no, you ruined it. You're doing so good. They like very clearly were using that strategy. When Liv tried to go and tag one of them in, they just jumped off of the apron. So unfortunately, while Sasha got taken out, she got escorted to the back, helped to the back, all injured and stuff. So Bailey was there all by her lonesome, trying to fight off both of these other teams, tagging out when she could, but that wasn't really all that helpful because we ended up getting Nia Jax pinning Bailey, and so Bailey and Sasha will be starting out the Elimination Chamber match. Now I maybe SmackDown will do something similar tomorrow night. They're already doing a gauntlet match to determine who gets to enter the chamber last for the WWE Championship match. But I'm interested to see if we get this same type of triple threat thing to see who else starts the match. I think it makes sense for a Raw team and a SmackDown team to start out on the one night a year that Raw and SmackDown go head to head. Let's see. I also really liked that. I think Tamina and Nia like just destroyed both Liv and Bailey, and Tamina just drags. Liv and Bailey were the legal competitors, and Tamina just drags Liv across the ring and holds her hand up for Nia to tag in. I like that. That was pretty good. Up next, I was really confused by this, but by the time all the interruptions happening, I was like, okay, that's the point of this, and I actually really like it. But they had Elias come out. They're like, Elias is next. But right before the commercial, they were like, Seth Rollins is next. So you have Elias come out, and then he is interrupted by the backstage thing with Becky and Finn talking. And then, ladies and gentlemen, Elias. And then the Seth video package of his rise to power over the last year. And then, ladies and gentlemen, Elias. And then Lucha House Party comes out. And then right to commercial. Like, this is crazy. So by the time Lucha House Party came out, I was like, oh yeah, this is actually pretty fun. So he's fed over the interruptions, and we have this whole thing with the Lucha House Party that they want to walk with Elias. But this was my favorite non-wrestling moment of the night was after Elias sang a song about Rapid City. He is it Rapid City? Is that where they're at? Wisconsin? I don't know. Lince Dorado was like messing with his ear, his cat ear, not his human ear, the cat ear on his mask. He's like clearing it out because it made his ears hurt. I really really like that detail. But Elias ends up smashing Kalisto over the back with the guitar after Kalisto played a couple of notes and was very impressive. Not really, not really. It wasn't bad. It was just like he just played a couple notes. Up next we had Drew McIntyre versus Finn Balor. Disqualification. I think Finn won via disqualification when Bobby Lashley attacked him, and Kurt Angle came out to rescue him, and everybody came out. I honestly didn't really pay attention to this whole thing. It was Strowman, Angle, and Balor versus McIntyre, Corbin, and Lashley. Leo Rush was doing something off to the side or whatnot. But the 6-man tag team match, Finn Balor won. But this is after. Okay, initially Bobby Lashley won, but the referee did not see that Finn's got his foot out on the rope. Another referee comes out and talks to John Cone. He's like, "Hey, you missed this. You got to restart the match or whatever." So they restart the match. And with the restarted match, Finn Balor wins. So Finn got 2 victories tonight, and Lashley got 1, I think, but also 2 because he beat up Finn Balor before that. Yes. We had a nice home video from, well, it wasn't from home. It was from the bowling alley. Kevin Owens talking about how he's coming back in about a month-ish, maybe. And it was just nice to see him. It doesn't match the picture quality of anything at all. But it was good to see an update on him. And I'm pretty excited for when he comes back, what he's going to be doing. And 1 month away, that's before WrestleMania. So what's he going to be a part of? What's he going to be doing? I guess we'll find out. By the way, you don't really get it. They haven't had, was it like 3 or, sorry, that's my microphone stand. How many Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royals have there been so far? As the winner doesn't get anything other than that trophy. Like they don't get a championship opportunity or anything like that. It seems like that's something worth considering. You have time to fill before SummerSlam anyway. That you'll be able to get a championship match after winning. Even if you lose, that's still like a cool thing to get. So I don't know if maybe they'll start doing something like that. That would be nice. I think they kind of said, they implied that would be what would happen, at least for the women's battle royal. And Naomi has gone on to say, I remember seeing her comments on Instagram or something like that. It's like, I still haven't gotten my match, guys. Said I was going to be part of the thing. Still haven't gotten it. I think she has fought. She has had a championship match since then, but it was like part of an open challenge or something like that. So I don't think that really counts as satisfying that promise. But anyway, up next we had Nikki Cross versus Ruby Riott. Lots of fun to see these two in the ring together. Building up to Ruby Riott taking on Ronda Rousey on Sunday. And Ruby got the win via the Riott kick. And, as much as everything's like getting all screwed up and all that, I think it would be really funny and pretty great if, not even like funny. I think it would be great if they just mess it all up with Ruby winning the championship. And then everybody involved with the Ronda Rousey side was like, oh, well, what now? I guess we're going to go after Ruby. Or maybe now I need to help Ronda get her championship back so that we can I can beat her up. But we might also get Like that could be interesting if Charlotte helps Ruby win, just to screw over Charlotte and Ronda, mostly screw over Ronda. That could be a thing, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So I think, is it kind of solidified that Nikki Cross is on Raw now, because she hasn't appeared on SmackDown at all. Heavy Machinery has been appearing on both, but both Nikki Cross and EC3, they've only been appearing on Raw, so I guess we'll see more on that. We also haven't seen any Lacey Evans in this week or last week, I don't think. But she was on main event right after the Rumble, and that was a fun match. I enjoyed that. Seth, he comes out, says, let's talk about how awesome I've been this last year. And he says, I took 6 F5s and I'm still here. Paul Heyman comes up, and he says that Brock isn't there. And then there's a whole thing of whatever. They're hyping up the Universal Championship match, and that's gonna happen, and it'll be pretty good. I mean, it's almost 2 months away, WrestleMania. So like all this stuff, the matches that we know are gonna happen are like either have to put them on the back burner, kind of like with Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins. It's a slow burn it down, or you have to spice it up, light it on fire, light it up. With the Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair stuff. So like 2 different ways of doing it, kind of. And there's 2 pay-per-views to go until then. And also, I feel like there's the Elimination Chamber, as far as the women's matches goes, is kind of like the focus as far as in-ring stuff goes. But I'm still really looking forward to Ronda versus Ruby. I guess I should do some predictions on here. I'll get to that in a second. We had Dean Ambrose. He tells, first he comes out while Seth is still there. He says, he tells him, slay the beast. So it's like, hey, the bad blood's not there now. Dean might be coming back around, realizing he made some mistakes, perhaps. So I'm interested to see where that goes. But Ambrose gets a rematch against EC3, who defeated him last week. But this time, Ambrose gets the win. I think it was with a roll-up or something like that. And then our main event match, Raw Tag Team Championship match, Chad Gable and Bobby Roode versus The Revival. This is a must-see match. These guys are great. All 4 of them just killing it in this match. And that ending, oh my God, that Shatter Machine counter to the crossbody from Chad Gable, beautiful. So the Revival are the new tag team champions, and I'm excited to see them defend those championships against all comers, and maybe we'll get the Major Brothers, Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, challenge them at WrestleMania for the championships. Oh, that's silly. Maybe at Fastlane. That'll happen at Fastlane. Becky, so she comes. I already talked about all this. She apologizes, but then Ronda comes out. They're about to go at it, have a war of words, but then Vince comes out and says, nope, Becky, bye. Here's Charlotte. So that's. We'll see. There's a lot of show to go until this match actually happens, whatever the match ends up actually being. And I'm just excited to see Becky Lynch in a match of any fashion. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that she'll get her way back into the match, or to either as a triple threat, or to get the one-on-one match back. And I'm just excited for that match, whatever it is. I know there's a lot to potentially be upset about, at the moment. But again, there's 55 days. What is that? 55 days until WrestleMania, according to Vince's math tonight. I'm not double checking that math. I'll trust him. I'll trust him on that much. There's 55 days, which is like 7 more episodes of Raw, 7 more episodes of SmackDown, 2 more pay-per-views. There's a lot of time to build up a story. Like, I see a lot of comments about no long-term storytelling, that kind of thing. And then when we do have a story that goes on for a long time, it's so boring. It's getting long, really drawn out, and all that kind of stuff. And like when it's WrestleMania season, when you happen upon a match that's WrestleMania worthy, that's kind of the unfortunate thing of it, that we kind of stumbled into this becoming the WrestleMania main event along the way because of the Becky Lynch injury right before Survivor Series. Because otherwise we would have seen Becky versus Ronda at Survivor Series already. And then right now it would have already been probably determined that would be Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. And then who even knows what would be going on with building that up. It might not even been built up very obviously yet. It might have been the kind of thing where Charlotte won that Charlotte won the Royal Rumble, but then it was taking her time to decide which champion she was going to go after to challenge. Which would go after Asuka. Would Asuka even have the championship right now if this was the case? Would it be Charlotte deciding between Becky Lynch and between challenging Ronda? There's no way to know. Well, I'm sure you could probably ask somebody who's in on all those plans and find out what the original intentions were. But that's kind of it's a blessing and a curse that this whole feud came out of all of that it got so big. On the one hand, it's like great in general, but on the other, there's so much time until the match actually happens that like how do you balance keeping it interesting and keeping people's interest between like not making it like overexposed. So I think we are definitely somewhere in the middle of those two extremes, and we might be tipping one way or the other. But I think this Charlotte Flair stuff is gonna keep it interesting. It'll keep the wheels turning on it. Like how is this gonna develop next? And what do we hope develops next? That kind of thing. So yeah, I was sent I was contacted on Twitter to see if I would read a wrestling comic, and so I am going to talk about that on my comic book episode later this week. Or if I read it before then, I'll let you know at the top of the episode. But I got the 2 copies of the first 2 issues in email, and I told them, yeah, I'd love to take a look and read those, and I'll let you know whenever I talk about them. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm actually kind of excited for that. I know absolutely nothing about it because they just tweeted me, presumably because I tweet about wrestling and comic books. And yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, tomorrow night we have SmackDown 205 Live. I'm excited to see what happens. That gauntlet match is going to be crazy. As far as predictions for Sunday, there's some weird matches that we got taking place. There's Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush in a handicap match for the Intercontinental Championship. That's kind of weird. what I kind of hope happens. Now, I don't know how a handicap match for a singles championship really works, but I think it would be kind of funny if Lio Rush got the pin, and so then Lio is considered having won the championship. Because that would be the case if it was a triple threat. But if they're acting as a unit, then I guess they're acting as co-champions, and so the co-championship unit retains it in its original form. So I don't know. It's all weird. I don't even know how that came to be. They didn't really explain it. I felt like they didn't really explain it. But then again, that whole section of the show, I was totally spaced out. So that's a weird match that's going to happen. I guess we're going to get Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin for some reason. But if it's that match that gets like 5 minutes instead of the Revival versus the Road Warriors for just 5 minutes, have the match on Raw like they did tonight. I much prefer that. They have this solid, long, excellent match instead of like a rushed weird thing. Like on the kickoff show for Royal Rumble, that was such a weird thing there. There's like for a lot of people like around me are like, what is even happening right now? I don't understand. So I hope I'd rather they not be on the show than to be in some type of weird situation like that on Sunday. This coming Sunday. Excuse my microphone manipulation sounds. And then we of course have I didn't pull up the announced card or anything. I guess I could do that. And then of course the tag team championships. No. Oh, I'm in my history. That's why. Elimination. Oh. Let's see. Oh, Ronda Rousey versus Ruby Riott. I talked about that already. It would be so. I'm rooting for RR. I know RR is going to make all my money is on RR, but I would like to see Ruby Riott as champion just to mess everything up going into WrestleMania. I guess I could do that, and then Ronda just wins it the next night. Like if she lost it, and then she's like, "Why don't you uphold my tradition and have an open challenge, huh?" And then Ruby accepts, and then she wins it back. Right? I don't know, but I'll be rooting for Ronda. Or I'll be rooting for Ruby. I'll be rooting for RR. Then we also have the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship, of course. I will talk about this more tomorrow because it's all the SmackDown folks. Same with the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I'll talk about that tomorrow. The Women's Championship, the Women's Tag Team Championship. So we know that Sasha and Bayley will be starting the match, and so I'm not really expecting them to win at all. I already wasn't really expecting them to win. Because they'll definitely get it at WrestleMania if they don't win it this Sunday. But now with them starting out, and it sounds like Sasha is hurt and all that kind of stuff, it would make sense for somebody else to win as the first of this new line of champions. And so I'm kind of rooting. I'm rooting for Riot Squad and the Iconics. I think either of those two teams winning makes a lot of sense. Or no, actually, strike that. Mandy and Sonya winning the tag team championships. That could be pretty good and then them having the WrestleMania match. They'd kill it. They would kill it against Sasha and Bayley. So we'll see. But maybe they'll only ever have 6-team matches for the championships. It's always a 6-pack challenge. That'd be ridiculous. It is kind of like, okay, you're determining the first champions, and that it may be kind of a positive thing. You're determining the first champions in a match that does not utilize most of the skills that you would normally use in a tag team match. Like tagging in, using those rules like the 5 counts and things like that, breaking up pins within the structures, within the confines of those rules. None of those skills count. None of those skills matter in this first crowning of a champion. So so that being said, it would make sense for whoever to win that to not actually be the best at regular tag team wrestling. And so the team that is the best at regular tag team wrestling, they can quite easily jump in there and win those championships off them. So yeah. I'll talk about that more tomorrow night, especially if we get more developed, like if SmackDown, if they have a thing to determine who is the first, who starts the match. We have that gauntlet match. I'm really looking forward to that. And I guess we also have a McMiz TV segment with special guests, the Usos. So I'll definitely be talking about that. All right, that's it. I think this episode is a lot longer than I meant. Oh, yeah, way, way, way longer than I meant for it to be. But hopefully you enjoyed listening. Stay tuned for SmackDown and more later this week. Let me know what you thought about this episode by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, write a review on iTunes. You have to subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And I'll be back with more real soon here on TIW Podcast. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.